Om Tat Sat. My humble prostrations to the all-pervading Brahman, to my worshipful Guruji, Swami Jyotirmayanandaji Maharaj, to the Divine Mother, and all sages and saints, and to each of you divine soul watching today's satsang. We are currently covering the Holy Scripture, Mysticism of Devi Mahatmaya, worship of God as Mother. Commentaries by my Guruji, Swami Jyotirmayanandaji, narrated by myself, Swami Nikhilananda. So let's get started. We are currently covering the mystic meaning of the story of the Devi, Medha Rishi, and Suratha and Samadhi. And today we'll be covering deeper into the mystic meaning of that. It has been explained that Suratha represents the individual soul. Suratha. Su means very much, very good, and Rath means a chariot, so a strong chariot. And the Vaishya represents Samadhi. Samadhi is the superconscious state of mind, veiled by various thought waves. The soul, having gained insight into the falsity and the vanity of the world, turns to Medha Rishi, intuitive intellect, that is Medha Rishi, and is associated with Samadhi, the profound meditative process of the mind. So these are the deeper meanings of these characters of the story that we have covered: Sage Medha, Suratha, and Samadhi. Sage Medha, the purified intellect, reveals to the soul the glory of the Divine Mother. The pure intellect enables the soul to discover the glorious manifestations of divine powers as the soul journeys towards the realm of liberation. That is why the intellect has to be pure, because when the intellect is impure or mixed, it runs towards the world process. But when it becomes pure, it becomes serene, holy, and guides us towards the main goal of mukti, liberation. The cosmic mother, she removes all obstacles, gross obstacles in the form of mala, or gross impurities of the mind, are removed by the Devi in her Mahakali or Durga aspect. So she is the destroyer of our impurities. The subtle obstacles in the form of vikshepa or distractions of the mind are removed by the Devi in her Mahalakshmi aspect. Just like the lake that shimmers is hard to catch the reflection in that shimmering lake, but when that same lake becomes totally serene, the entire reflection comes in it. Much in the same way, we have these reflections, vikshepas in our mind, and grace of Goddess Lakshmi comes to us. And its ramifications, the third, subtlest object in the form of ignorance. So that is the avidya aspect. Malavikshep avarana. So that avarana means a curtain that is in front of us, that is not letting us see what's behind. That is coming by the grace of Goddess Saraswati. She removes that ignorance, and in her Mahasaraswati aspect. So she grants both bhoga. Bhoga means enjoyments in this world, and moksha. Moksha is liberation from the cycles of birth and death also. When the goddess is pleased, she gives back to the soul its unobstructed emperorship, enlightenment. That is our true birthright in this very lifetime. And then when we get that, then that soul that achieves enlightenment is called a Jivan Mukta, liberated saint in life. And all of us are so blessed to have Swami Jyotirmayananda ji amongst us. He is 90 plus right now and still residing in Miami, Florida, in his glorious ashram. And he is indeed a Jivan Mukta, a Jivan Mukt Sant. So that is the blessing we all are receiving, and his grace that is sustaining our satsanga, and as we are rapidly progressing towards the holy journey. So, and after the death in the form of Videha Mukti, so when the soul, the physical body, Prarabdha Karma terminates, then the goddess bestows the blessing of Videha Mukti, which means you still get liberated, but without the body. So with the body, without the body. When you have the body, you're called a Jivan Mukta, which means you still have your karmas left and you are already liberated. And then when the body terminates, then one is bestowed with Videha Mukti. Videha means no body. A Jivan Mukta, one who is liberated in life, is freed from all karmic fetters, and yet he continues to perform actions for the well being of the world. When his prarabdha karma terminates, his soul merges in the Absolute. He will not return to the world of birth and death anymore. The Vaishya Samadhi, the enlightened state of mind, having revealed the nature of the self, merges in the absolute. And each one of us is entitled to be like that Samadhi and also attain the absolute, get enlightenment. In essence, the soul caught in the world process visits the hermitage of the pure intellect, becomes the friends of Samadhi, that is, in order to get that, practices concentration, meditation, and samadhi, and learns about the unfoldment of consciousness, the Divine Mother, through the intuitive intellect. Ultimately, by the constant practice of Brahma Abhyasa, constant affirmation that I am Brahman, and constant devotion to the Mother, the individual soul attains liberation or Jivan Mukti. When all the karmas terminate, it attains Videha Mukti or liberation after death. Practice of Devi worship has two forms: Bahiranga, or the external form, such as offerings of flowers, residing in seclusion, selfless service, and other disciplines. And Antaranga, or internal or direct form, is like practice of reflection, meditation, and samadhi, going inwards. With the help of these two methods, the soul draws the grace of the goddess or the pure self and attains enjoyments, bhoga, as well as release, moksha. So we can have both. Lot of times people think that we cannot have possessions if we are a serious aspirant. You can have them, you can have both of them, but you have to use your discretion and understand what these things are and what they mean to us. Without the worship of the self, the Divine Mother, there cannot be any progress or success. Devi Mahatmaya is the glory of the self that abides in the heart of every individual. And when the self is pleased, when life is lived with an understanding of the deeper laws of the universal unity, the ego of a person dwindles down into nothing, leaving the firmament of the heart clear of all the demoniac forces. So that is the goal, is to purify our chitta and become pure. The gentle breeze of eternity blows, wafting the fragrance of immortality and bliss. So thus ends the narration of the stories of the glorious deeds of the Devi. May the goddess be propitious to all of us. May her blessings be bestowed upon each one of us. This is Swami Nikhilananda. Om Tat Sat.